Yesterday was a day filled with frustration and rage. Mostly rage. Almost smashed in my keyboard. Almost. Well, not almost. I would never. But the mouse. I was thinking about it. Just like fucking throwing the shit across the room. But then later, when I calmed down, I went back and looked at the code and realized I was making some grave mistakes. Grave. I didn't fix anything. I just I left some comments for myself. So we shall be fixing those now. Okay, the first mistake I realized was yeah, okay. Yeah, my first mistake was not that here. So the array I have is a 2D array. Is it? I don't have a 2D array. Anyway, the window. Ooh, it's a bit loud. What's wrong with my mic? There we go. Oh. Yeah, the window is 2D. And I gotta put the data for the 2D array into a 1D array. So I was converting I don't know what's called. The conversion was wrong. So I just looked up the formula and then row times height. Okay, I just look it up again. Convert 2D. Yeah, there we go. So the index is row times 4 here. 4 is the height plus col. What's row? This call is pixel index. Pixel index. All right. We need X. Oh, I can do plus X here. Equal to is it width times the height? Hang on. Let me just draw this out. So we have 0, 0, and 0. So this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. I need one more. 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. And this is 2. Okay, perfect. The index would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. I think the easiest would be to calculate it from this. I is x is what? 3, 2, 2. Y is also 2. How can we get 5 from 2? 4. So it should be something like row times height. The fuck is 4? Four by 8. Oh, he's going the other way around. Oh no, he's not. Row times the length of row plus column. Row is 2. Length of column is also, and it's 1 plus, because there's 2, I think. I don't know anymore. And what was the last one? Plus column 2. Okay. So it's I times the height plus j. Is it? Row goes this way, so that's x. Okay. No. I think the plus x is correct. I just need that. Y times the height. Okay, that worked, I think. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I also want to change. What's wrong? Back. What is my... Ah, fuck. Yeah, because I forgot. I want to change this into a U32. And then that way here. Yep, This would be 0, 0. That's the padding. That's blue, green, and red. Technically, that should work. Okay, I mean, at least it's still wrong, but whoa, it fixes itself on resize. And the resize doesn't work, but this is good. At least see red. Why red? Or maybe should be that way. No. Turns it to black. The padding thing. Why is it red? Will that make it green? Okay. So that's blue. That's weird. But I think something's wrong. I don't think that's correct. Let me just check if the formula is correct. Y times height 0 times height 0 plus x. So index 0. That'll be 1. Y times height. Yeah, that's not correct at all. 1 times height would be like a big number. Oh yeah, it should be... I think it should be the width. I mean, let's give it a go. No, it's the height. Let's try the width. What could go wrong? Okay. So at least, let's go. Fucking window works. Now all I gotta do is fix the... Yeah, you can ignore that. Small detail. I don't know why that happens. Whoa. And then a lot of bad things happen. I don't know why. Let me look at resize. Here. So the height's correct. The width is also correct. Is the image size correct? I can remove this. I think here, this is wrong. Should be width. Height. So now if I, motherfucker, why does it not grow? Seems like I can't make it. Whoa. That works. I want to know if it's being updated. Standard debug and window image update. Should really use the debugger. Okay. That kind of looks funny. Window is definitely updated. The question is, okay, I think I'll just use the debugger. Guess let's have a look at the image. Okay. Where's my window? Okay, it's here. Okay, it hasn't drawn the image yet. Oh, return the image. Can I see height, width? Okay, let's continue. So the image is drawn. Width is correct. Height, x offset is 0. Data is that's weird. Can I cast? Can I do that? U32 to char star. No, no, no. A slice. Right, let me ask. Cloud. How can I convert past and what? Slice a U32 to char. Char. No, 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 not C string. Never mind. I think the colors are fine for now. I want to see on resize what happens. Okay, so it seems to be updated. I think this one's calculated automatically. I'm not sure if that's correct or wrong. What else does it depend on? The visual and the depth. I thought this would be like real time, but seems to be not. Where's WA? Yeah, the width and the height stay the same. Check. X resize. Resize request. Change the inside dimensions of the specified window. Maybe I can check GitHub. No, not GitHub. Where did I find the events? Event types. Resize, redirect. Does that mean I need to resize the window when I get a resize request? Could be. Okay, let's try that. Resize. Display width height. What's W? Window. Request. C.x resize window. Display window width and height. What does it return? Return some number, which we shall ignore for now. Can I just use event.x resize request dot height width? This is height. This one I can ignore. This one is a const. So I gotta cast it anyways. No. Okay, moment is truth. Fuck. Okay, okay, okay. Stop. That just went wild. Okay, let's not do that for now. That was funny. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. So every time I call this, it's call in and expose, but I'm not listening to it. If the override redirect flag of the window is false and some of the client has selected blah blah blah. I don't think that's it. Resize window. Does it say anything? X11 handle resize window. Pro on resize. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't resize the window context, the graphic context. I mean, this is way too much information. Oh, how does he handle resize? I don't know. This is not very useful. Just a bunch of people arguing. What does Google say? Configure notify. Do I need to update X11 update GC on resize? Yep. When you perform drawing operations using outdated GC after resize, GC updates following steps are involved. Structure notify. Okay. I think I already. No, it's the resize something. I mean, it's the same thing. No, redrawing the content doesn't work. Where do I even use the GC? Change window attributes. Can use to set window attributes as a more general function. Can always check GitHub. Line tiles. Go. Window. Yeah, just ignore the back buffer. Does he handle resize? Key press, climb message. No, it doesn't. Mm. Set a list of expose events. The X server can generate expose events to clients wanting information about when the contents of window regions have been lost. The circumstances in which X server generates expose events are not as definite as those for other events. Don't think I specified. The X server could generate blah blah. The regions are viewable. Maintain them back in store. Honoring the Windows attributes when mapped. The region expose, decompose into an blah blah. Exposure mask. Don't really understand what gives a new window. Interesting. Okay, let me event. Let me event. Let me listen. Set the exposure mask. Edit. Okay, and then what is an exposure event? Be computed during certain graphics requests. Resize request. Okay, no. That's after you call resize window. Where did I even find this event? Resize redirect mask. Hmm. The window member is set to the window whose size another attempted to change. I wonder if I need to update the window to be the new one. Let's give it a go. Resize request. Yeah, this one just creates a cycle. Whoa, where am I getting this from? Interesting. I think I need to. X resize request event window. What could go wrong? Okay, I think I know why, because I still need this elsewhere. Okay, so now if I resize, nothing happens. I stop, then want to see. Window is that 1113361. Continue. If I do a resize, okay. Can I see event? Yeah. Resize request. Okay, it's the same window. So this is kind of pointless. Okay, so I think I understand what the problem is. Maybe. Do I resize? No. Okay. So my guess is when I do this, it's only a request to resize the window. The window's not actually getting resized. What's the right way to handle resize? I'm using 11. Configure notify. Does the GC get updated? Hmm. Okay, I think I see the mistake. So when I draw, it always uses the window attribute, but it's not getting updated. Image takes arena, display, window. Yeah. Height is height. And this should also be, oops. Width, height. Oh no, I don't need the window attribute, but don't need to use that. I think that should work. And here it should also be width. Selected U size. A lot of casting. Window. Okay, now if I resize. Motherfucker. I was fully expecting that to resize. Why? Okay, let me run debug. Can I see the image? Not necessary. Okay, so event. Yep, this is greater than the original. That's correct. Go back. And then what does the image look like? The image also looks right. Okay, and I think the bytes per line changes too, but that's like automatic. Bits per pixel is 32. Yeah. I mean, it's better than yesterday. It's got a whole new problem today. And I don't know why. Reparent. Window and is generated when a configure window request is by some other client on the window attempts to change the size of the window. But that doesn't say nothing. Handle resize. I only update the size the image. But as is, only the window gets bigger. The image stays the original size, even though the debugger I can see the image dimensions have changed. I am, motherfucker. What a stupid thing to say. Nope, I'm using the new ones. Interesting. I can use the image dot width. Why do I even have to pass it? Oh, of course, it's not the right type. I mean, I didn't expect that to work, but at least I can. Don't have to repeat myself. No, it's none of it. X11 handling resize. Let me have a look at the graphics context. What does it have? Resize. it's a pointer. Can I see what's at the pointer? Doesn't change. Where did I get it from? Create DC. I'm guessing as the window changes. I shouldn't have to. Does it use a pointer to the window? It doesn't. Mm, okay. DC. Make this a variable. Then copy this. Get a new one. Although it doesn't make any sense. Yep, nothing changes. At least we can rule that out. Hang on, I'm gonna get some more coffee. Okay. I don't think the coffee is gonna help, but unheard. Okay, let's try again. So the window gets updated. The GC depends on the window. So why? Let me check my image. It is 609487. Yep. Excuse me. Why does it need the root window? Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong method. Yeah, and this always depends on height and the width. Length is that. How do I calculate the length? Pixels size, height times width times bytes per pixel. Yeah, because each is 32. Yeah, that looks right. And bytes per pixel is should be 4. One, two, three, 3048. I would say that looks right. Why is it unknown? Can I not watch? That's weird. Yeah, it is correct. The only thing that sort of bothers me is the name. X resize. It's called X resize request. What it says is it hasn't been resized yet. Structure control events, map request, resize request. Alright, I think I'm kind of stuck. Alright,
That's enough to start.
We'll take a little break and then continue with this. Come back to it later. This does not date image.
We have gotten ourselves back to 1980. That is what we have done. I could not be happier. But what just happened right before your very eyes is we have turned this modern, awesome, beastly computer running a hugely complicated and difficult to wield operating system into something where we just basically have a bitmap that we can draw to and get back to the joy of coding, because there is no stopping us now. We can draw anything we want to that. But there is something we could still do. We have 20 minutes left in the stream, and 20 minutes is just enough to start to do some damage on something else we might want to do. So I say we go ahead and do it. I am feeling good tonight, ladies and gentlemen, even though I am sick. That is usually means, since pride cometh before the fall, that something terrible will happen to me in the next 20 minutes, but what can you do? I can't stop that. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen anyway. Might as well enjoy the last 20 minutes that you get if you're about to get hit by a bus or whatever it is that's going to happen to you. I say we move the rendering code for our bitmap up here into a separate function that basically says, what's this function going to be called? I don't know what it's going to be called. Maybe we will call it render weird gradient, because honestly, that is what it is doing. And the render weird gradient call will go ahead and take some kind of an integer. That will be the x offset and the y offset. And all I'm going to do there is when we stuff our values in, we will add those offsets so that we can animate our gradient around the screen. Make sense? I think it makes sense. Seems like a good idea to me. And like I said, we got 20 minutes left, so how wrong can we really go? Now, if we want to reproduce the behavior of our own program, we can certainly just do that by calling render weird gradient right there, and we can pass 0, 0 to verify that we did not mess anything up. Now, of course, it needs to know how big those are, but we saved those, so that's fine, because the width and the height are actually global variables currently, so we can go ahead and use those right there. Let's go ahead and call int width the bitmap width, then we will call int height the bitmap height, and then we are good to go. Oh, bytes per pixel, that is actually a constant. We will hoist that out for now. All of these things are things we're going to have to wrap up. I have a plan for this, by the way. I am not going willy-nilly. I do have a plan for how I want to do this, but we will talk about it in the Q&A if I don't forget, but I probably will forget. So maybe someone remind me, hey Casey, you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Let's verify that we reproduced our program when we abstracted that function out, and we did. We pulled it out all right. Good, give ourselves a pat on the back. Now let's make sure that we can use our offset. I'm going to go ahead and offset it halfway on just the x-axis. X-axis. Talking, ladies and gentlemen, it is difficult. You've done it all your life, but it is harder than you think when you are programming live on Twitch. Okay, there we go. It is offset properly, just like we want it to be. So now we have every reason to believe that this function will work. But we need to do something if we want to actually make that animate, which is what I want to do. We need to go down here and not wait for Windows. We do not want to wait around while Windows stuffs in our message queue, because if you remember, I told you about get message A, and one of the problems with get message A is that it will block. So once we run out of messages, we will block right there. Windows will shut us down, and it will wait for another message to come to our queue. It'll go do other things, whatever the other things need to be, switch to another process, use that CPU time effectively. We don't want to do that. We want to use that CPU time all for ourselves. So really what we want to do here is we want to change this to a message loop that processes messages when there are messages, but if there aren't messages, we keep running, right? That's what I want to do. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Why not? We're going to go ahead and switch our message loop by the seat of our pants, ladies and gentlemen, to a peak message loop instead of a get message loop. Here is our peak message loop. And basically what a peak message loop does is the exact same thing as get message, but when there is no message, it will allow us to just keep on running instead of blocking. So we are going to go ahead and call that. You can see that it takes substantively the same things. It takes the address of a message, it takes the window handle and the filters, just like we filled out before. Don't need any of those. And then it has one additional flag that we need to know what to do. Basically, it's just something that says whether it should pull things out of the queue or just look at them in the queue and tell you what they were. Well, we actually want to process our queue, so we're going to pull them right on out of there, and that is PM remove. Messages are removed from the queue after processing by peak message. Go ahead and copy that out of there. Here we go. There we go. Not bad. Peak message. Now that's going to return a bool, and we need to know what that bool is. I assume the bool is whether or not there was a message, but let's go ahead and verify that. It's been a long time since I've actually written one of these loops. I always have the same loop I've been using for years, to be honest with you. Cut and paste reuse, that's the way you do it. Okay, so peak message, if no message is available, return non-zero if the message is available. If no message is available, return 0. So all we need to do is say if we got a peak message, then we are going to have to process it. Now, one of the things that we need to probably do is we don't want to repaint all the time, because if we had lots of messages in our queue, we want to process them all. So really probably what we want to do is we want to say while peak message returns true, translate and dispatch all the messages just to flush out our queue, because we're kind of obligated to process that queue. We can't not process that queue or our app will start being badly behaved. Maybe we want to gate limit that sometime just in case there's a flood of messages, but I don't know. Really, there's nothing you can do. You got to process your queue. That's pretty much just something you got to do. So we're probably just going to have to be stuck doing that. So let's do it. So this will flush out our queue. As long as there are messages in the queue, it will process them. But now we will no longer get our quit message. Oh, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about that because we are now using the running thing. But we should probably double check our message to make sure that we're not getting a quit message from Windows for some other reason. So I'm going to go ahead and double check that MSG structure. Let's see here, dot message. So dot message, I'm going to say that if dot message is equal to WM quit, I am going to make sure that running equals false, so that we just quit anytime we get that WM quit message, just to make sure that we're handling this case that we used to handle down here. Okay, so basically that will still do the exact same thing as before. We should have absolutely no difference now. Oops, we need the deleted the definition of the thing that holds the message. That's no good. Now as we go, in theory, everything is now exactly the same as it was before, but we are now able to repaint our bitmap as often as we want. So what we could do is we could say x offset equals 0, and down here we can go ahead and say render weird gradient right in our loop. So after we are done processing our message queue, we are starting to get behind the Twitch window there, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to this window here, so we are not obscured by the little picture of me talking, because who doesn't want to see me talking? I am sure that is everyone's favorite thing to do, is to watch my head. All right, here we go. We are going to call render weird gradient with the x offset and the y offset, and we are just not even going to bother initializing it in here. Not at all. Not going to do that because we don't actually care. We'll probably want to do in here, I'll put a to do, probably want to clear this to black. Probably clear this to black. But we don't need to do that right now or worry about that right now, because we'll be thinking about those sorts of things later. And what we will do is every time through the loop, we will take x offset and we will add 1 to it. Just go ahead and increment that using the shorthand for +1. Let's see what happens now. Oops, that doesn't look good. What's going on here? Well, that was not what we wanted at all. What happened? Why did my render weird? Oh, duh. Well, there's one thing we... Oh man, I was a little too excited there. Forgot something obvious. We need to still blit it to the screen. We need to actually update the window, right? Because we were only updating the window inside WM Paint, right? This thing that actually does the strategy bits, I never called it. So of course we're not going to see the results. Sure, we rendered to our bitmap, but our bitmap's not on the screen. We need to actually blit it to the screen. So let's go ahead and have that blit to the screen. Now we're going to need device context. We're going to need that window rectangle, and we are going to need the dimensions of the blit, which will basically just be 0, 0, and our window rect, our window width and height. So I'll go ahead and program those in there. Sorry for the little hiccup there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that was a big one. That was just a, well, I got a little excited and was hoping I could do a little less work than what I actually had to do. But, you know, no harm, no foul. So window rect, at this point, this is something, now I'm just calling this out. I'm not doing it right now because we're just kind of messing with things at this moment. But you've seen me write this code a couple times with the, in fact, I'm just going to actually cut and paste it from here. You've seen me writing this code a couple of times. So right about now, if this were actual code that I wasn't just kind of funging with and was going to rewrite in a second anyway as we start to clean things up, which is what we'll do tomorrow, I would be pulling this out into a function and keeping this stuff. I would actually have a function basically that does this, because we have done it enough times now that it's clear it's something we want to do, and I don't want to be cut and pasting it all over the code. So I would definitely be doing that right about now. We're not going to, because I know that we're going to kind of funge. We're going to do something a little bit different. But basically, you know, just so you're aware, right about now is when that spidey sense would be tingling, and so if this were code that we were going to keep, it would be pulled out. So we're going to go ahead and get the device context of the window, which again is something we need to draw, and we are going to go ahead and release that. There's a kind of a get and release thing that has to happen here. And by the way, for people who are into resource acquisition is initialization, which remember I said I don't like very much, there are a couple places where I would be okay with it. I wouldn't fault you for it. If you want to do something like this and have a little thing that's like a DC getter releaser pair to make sure you don't forget the release, if it's something that helps you out and you want to use RAI for that, you could pull this off into a class with a constructor and a destructor. I would not get mad at you for that or disparage you at all. It's totally fine. It's something that you kind of have to do sometimes. So like I said, every programming thing has a place where you may use it. It's really the dogma that gets you. Try not to get into the dogma, because every programming practice probably has a use somewhere. It's just usually not something you want to do all the time. You need to know when to use things. And a lot of times when people get into something and they start to assign names to things and do those other stuff, they get carried away, and carried away is almost always bad. So for the RAII people out there, throw you a bone. It is true. I would think that would be a perfectly fine thing for you to do. Now, we need to get the window handle. So we have the window handle here. I'm just going to change this to window, honestly, because I don't know why I called it window handle to begin with. We're not going to have anything else that's called window, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. We have a client rect here, so yes, I should call. In fact, I'm just going to replace that everywhere. It really should have been client rect everywhere. So we're going to change window rect to client rect. We're going to go ahead and, change that. So window rect should be client rect. There we go, just to be a little more concise. And then we actually used it correctly there. Get rid of that. We actually have one. It's not a pointer, so we got to change those to dots. The most useless thing you ever do in C and C++, since the compiler should just know. John already fixed this in this language, I believe. And then we need to pass a pointer to that. So cleaned up all our compile errors, and we should be good to go. Now we are actually rendering the gradient and blitting the gradient. I'm hoping to see something on the screen now, but I don't know if we actually will. So let's take a look and see. Is that animating at all, ladies and gentlemen? It does not appear to be. Why are we sad? Why are we sad, Panda? What's going on here? I must have done something wrong. Let's find out. Are we not blitting properly? Are we not doing, what are we not doing? That stretch blit I think is supposed to do it. I don't know if I have to force it to repaint or not. I'll double check that in a second. But I'm pretty sure we are changing. Oh, awesome. It is just a, you know, you get excited and you make a bunch of mistakes. So these are getting reset to 0 every time. What a surprise. Got to put those outside the loop, Casey, if you want them to keep increasing. I think that should be pretty obvious. There we go. There is our animating. So we are pretty much in shape now to animate whatever we want. Now, what I would normally do at this point, and this is definitely something that is high on the list of priorities for us to do, is to figure out how fast that stretch blitz, that stretch call is. Now, also we should test this too, make sure we can make it huge, and we can. We can also make it tiny. There you go. And now one of the things that I want to note is basically it goes a lot faster when it's tiny than when it's large, and that's because basically the cost of filling those pixels and stuff like that. But the thing that I actually want to test is how fast we can actually update the screen using this sort of old school way of updating that we're going to use so that we can write the render ourselves. But the problem is I can't really do that. This speed is not representative of what it would actually be. First of all, because our gradient code is super crappy right now, so that's going to slow things down a little bit. But also just the stretch DI bits call. It is not a fair measure because open broadcasting system or whatever, the OBS thing I'm using to stream right now, because I have it set to desktop capture, which is what I need to use in order to kind of go through here and show you all the stuff that I'm doing, it makes the machine have like a 0 frame rate. Like basically anything I run, it's super slow. So I can't actually figure out, this might be running really fast right now for all I know and just is getting slowed down by OBS. So basically what I have to do sometime very soon, and I just haven't quite had time to do the research to figure out what one to order, is I need to order a video capture card so we can stop OBS from doing that, so we can actually profile the app on this machine and get somewhat reliable results, because we're going to need to do that for a lot of other reasons. So that's high on the list of things to do, but that is why we can't even tell how performant this technique is even going to be. In fact, you can see when I move the mouse, it slows it down, which would never really happen if this was actually happening without OBS, but moving the mouse causes it to do some kind of thing in OBS and so on. So that's a bit of a problem. We are in good shape today, people. We have an animating window on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was less than 3 hours of programming, including explanations, because Monday, don't forget, was just setting up our dev environment. So 3 hours of fully explanatory programming, that's like 20 minutes probably of actual programming to get an animated window on the screen using only our own code on Win32, where we can now write everything we want. I don't know. People say it takes a lot of work to get something running on Windows. I don't think that was a lot of work. It's a lot of knowledge, yes, but once you have the knowledge, that's pretty quickly. We are inside the 5-minute warning, so I'm going to do one more thing just to show you how this would work. Writing 32 bits is faster than writing 8 bits, ladies and gentlemen, although the compiler could probably do this for us. Let's go ahead and change this to a 32-bit write instead of an 8-bit write. So we're going to change our pixel to be a 32-bit pointer, and we are just going to go ahead and write to it once, like that, in a nice little shorthand. We're going to write to it, and then remember, this is the post increment operator, which means it increments pixel after we have already used it. Dereference, which gives us the pixel that it actually was. Little cleverness there, it is true. But then I am going to go ahead and I am going to actually build this out of bits. So we had 3 values that we...
Okay, I think I've already done that bit. It's the fucking resize. I don't think... I don't know why I just ran that. It's not like it's magically gonna work. So why the fuck does it do that? It's got a weird line as well. I just noticed. Strange. Well, let me run the debugger one more time. If it doesn't work, I'll try tomorrow. Do a bit of resize. I think the buffer is right. It's the way the image is drawn. So it's one of these things. Either the display, window, or the GC. The window stays the same. So what was the GC again? Based on the display and the window. They both stay the same too. Weird. Or the other thing that I can think of, it's a resize request. What if this is actually, oh, let me try. Comment that out. Should be nothing there. Okay, no, that's not it. So I thought, since it's a resize request, it was an update. It was getting reset when it came back here. I don't know. I have no idea. Adding transparency. Connects to X server. They speak an X11 protocol. Selects input. Window, there'll be, well, 1 byte times that many. The pixels for a window don't have to exist at all. The X server needs pixel from a window. It tells the window to redraw the area it's missing using an expose event. Expose. The window then responds by submitting drawing commands back to the X server. The authors of Windows chose the same design that they wrote their display server, however they called their expose event WM Paint. Yep, that's the one Casey uses in the video. Notice something special when poking around. In attribute section, the inspector might have noticed background pix map. Pixels on the kitten, blah blah blah. The answer is, SternV just create a window and load the image, and the code creates a pix map, which allows us to have Memory backed pixel storage on the server. We then upload the pixels for the kitten image once using a put image request. Mm-hmm. No. What's regional geometry? No. Configure window request at times 3 configures window size, position, blah blah. The X server generates its events whenever a different client initiates a configure window request on a window by calling that. Don't know what I'm missing. I'm gonna ask Cloud. Why does my window not? No, I know. Why does my buffer not fill the entire window area on resize? Okay. Typically sent by window managers when they want to request resize. Note when a resize has actually occurred. Configure, notify. Okay, let's try. I doubt it because I do get the updated structure notify. Is it mask? Yeah. Set again. Configure notify. And I guess this is different. X configure. Width and height. There's also X and Y. Never have used it. Maybe at some point. Ooh, to do the animation. Good idea. X configure. still with. Alright, moment of truth. What the fuck? Why did that work? That is so cool. Let's go. And try to do that for like 2 days. Yes. Remove that. Can't believe that worked. Why did that work? I have no idea. Configure, notify. Resize request is not the event you want. That's typically sent by window managers when they want to request to resize. Note when a resize has actually occurred. Configure, notify. X server can report, configure, notify events to clients wanting information about actual changes to window state, such as size, position. Oh, okay. About actual changes. So, why the fuck do you have? Okay, never mind. If and it's got like a weird name. Configure, notify. Size, border, etc. Made by a client application actually completes. Window is moved. Window size is changed. Okay, see, that makes sense. Okay, that was good. I felt good. Now, to get the weird gradient thing, I can handle that later. X create image. Does it take an offset? Width, height. What's visual? Some display may be possible to deal with color recess resources more than one way. Oh no, I remember this one. I didn't understand it. So I just used what I got. Let me add an offset, see what happens. Data, put it 100. I don't notice anything. Maybe 1,000. Still nothing. Just isn't, yeah. So if I wanted to print a gradient, like that? I'd have to do it. Is unsigned 32 is equal to 0. And then pixel equals x. Yep, I figured. Well then, might as well. Okay, I mean, nice. What about the other colors? Where's green and red? It's probably because the width is not big enough. Guess if I did 255 plus. No, it's still just blue. Okay, okay. Not bad. I mean, it's not as cool a gradient. What's that now? Yeah. Maybe I can do x times y. Whoa. What is that? Okay, that's definitely cooler. What happens if I do x plus y? Nice. Now what if I wanted, I like the x times y. What if I did x times x plus, I'm just trying random shit now, y times y. There should be some red in there. No. Oh, that's like totally different. Some like weird patterns there. What if he cubed it? I guess if I expand it too much, it's gonna go, it might crash the window. Oh yeah. Because it went out of bounds. Okay. I think I preferred the x times y. Let's leave it there. Now to animate it. Every time it draws, guess if I do var x offset equals 0, x offset plus equals 1, must be count time now. What type is it? It's int. To say 32. Start from like -10. Past causes pointer to be null. Create image. Do I? No. Let's make it positive then. But nothing happens. Display a bunch of numbers. Oh, I know. Let me bring the offset back. We'll leave it usize so I don't have to cast it. Then can leave this 0. Okay. I wanted to go the other way. There we go. We have animation. I'm like a graphics expert now. I got this. How can I make it go towards the left? Whoa. And it grays out at the top because the offset. Okay. I can get rid of the offset. I don't want it. DT. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with that result. I can do a little bit of, like this one. What does it fail? The function, if mode is free all, the function will, okay. I don't need to worry then. Always true. I think ideally, when I call redraw, should just put the image as well. But then I need to pass it the display, window, and GC. I'd have to make it global. I don't want to. Actually, it's just the GC. Can remove that. Then it also takes GC, which is, hey Gabriel, C dot GC. Let's go. Yeah. Does this is error? I think I stream both to YouTube and Twitch. Currently, this is on Twitch as well. I mean, and yeah. Put image. What does it return? Nothing. So I can just make this white. Redraw and copy this. Hang on a sec. Oh yeah, because height emit is global. Oops. That should still work. Let's go. Perfect. And what else can I do? Do I use this anywhere outside of redraw? No, I don't. Okay, still works. Yep. Welcome to Twitch, Gabriel. I don't know yet. I might just run it on the CPU. But if I have to, yeah, I guess OpenGL. Yeah, I think I'll use the same in that case. I picked X11 because it was closer to Win32 API. I found out, I think yesterday or the day before. I heard about Wayland, but apparently it's newer. But it's too late. I've switched Windows systems 3 times now. Started with SDL, then GTK, and then now I'm on X11. I think I'm not gonna change Windows system anymore. Especially because I've got all the Windows stuff done. Yeah, and now I should be able to follow along with Casey, like one to one. Should be a lot easier from now. You would think so, but it's not that bad. Once you like figure out what the names are, because the names are quite weird. They don't make any sense at all. For instance, right? I mean, the open display, that's the one that sort of makes sense. And then you need the screen, which I have no idea why we need that. We need root window. Again, no idea. This one sort of makes sense. Create a simple window. And then after that, it's just like, I have no idea. Like store name. This is to write the title. Fucking weird. And this map window sync. But once you get that, it's fine. It works after that. Yeah. I think I missed Xsync on the first day, and it wasted like 2 days of my life trying to get the window running. And then if you go to Xsync, I mentioned somewhere here. Yeah, that it doesn't run without Xsync. Maybe, I don't know. But it's running now, so once you've get it running, then it's quite easy. And since it was my first one, it took about like 5 days to get the window. And then yeah, closing the window. This is also weird, because these are like the events. Yeah, these are the events, and if you want to close the window, you need a whole different thing called an atom, but I have no idea what that is, because apparently it comes from the window manager. So yeah, it's a little bit testing in the beginning, then it's fine, because I think now I don't need to do anything with the window anymore. I can just draw stuff to it. You would think so, but no. Because even without the atom, the bar above, it shows up, but the event never triggers if you close the window. Because what happens is without that event, you close the window, but your application keeps running. Because you don't get. You have to specifically create that atom thing. To, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of frustration. But I'm in a good place now, where I just all I have to care about is this buffer, and then write to that buffer. It feels so much better. So I should be able to go to day 5 tomorrow. Because I've done all of this. Oh geez. I just realized. Yeah, cheers Gabriel. I didn't see this. It's like Windows graphics. And the gamepad and keyboard. Yeah, that should be fun. So I guess I'm not free of X11 yet. And sound. Jeez. Yep. Alright, I don't want to think about it right now. It's a problem for tomorrow. Alright, Gabriel, I was just about to call it a day, but thank you for showing up everywhere. Hope you have a good day, whatever's left of it. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Alright, mate. See ya.